Fingers crossed it's working this time. I'm seeing people, so that's always a good sign. How are we? I just tried to do a live a minute ago, like right at 10, and it was like, nope. I was like, okay. Well, I hope that you're good. It's Wednesday today. I definitely thought yesterday was Friday for some reason. I was like, oh, we've got the weekend tomorrow. We don't. It's only Wednesday. Good morning. Hi, George. All right, today we're going to do the little acorn guys. So my idea for this was a padded satin stitch for the top and then just a regular satin stitch for the bottom. And I'm going to try and do it so that the top is like really quite padded. Okay. So it's going to like stick up a little bit. Some other things that you could do for this, because I know some people are not keen on satin stitch. I know we haven't done loads of it. We've only done this flower here and then this one. But if you're not keen on that, something else could be like a woven basket stitch on the top. That could look really fun. You could do like a full-on thread painting with lots of different colors of brown and make it a bit more like three-dimensional. I'm going to go for a simple padded satin stitch because we've got a lot going down here. We've got a lot going on here, and we've got a lot going on here. So I don't want to put another woven element in there at the moment. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to do the bottom parts first. So I'll show you one whole acorn, and then we can finish the other two if there's time. So yeah, I'm going to use this a light brown and a dark brown. So the light brown for the bottom and the dark brown for the top. And I think I'm going to do 4 strands on the bottom. I'm going to do 4 strands on the bottom, and I'm going to do a vertical satin stitch. So let's just snip this and bang that out real quick because we actually already know how to do this. We've already done the satin stitch before. This is just a really simple vertical regular satin stitch parallel. Just normal things here. But I hope everyone's okay and good. It's starting to get quite chilly here, so autumn is coming. I knew that felt too thin. That's actually 3 strands, not 4. So let me just put another one in. Fabulous. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, when it was warm, like I normally live for the summer, but when it was warm, I just felt like it was too warm. Maybe that's just me like overheating or something. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go up into the cap a little bit. So it's not gonna be a straight line here. I'm gonna take it up a little bit further. And that way we can cover the top. We can cover the top with our top stitches, if you know what I mean. Oh my gosh, Nem said he did a half marathon on Sunday and he reckons he's finally just recovered. Oh my goodness. Isn't it someone's birthday? Yes, it is. My mom just said, happy birthday, Mel. I thought someone's birthday was on the 19th. I'm not going to lie. And today's the 21st. And I thought, sorry, 22nd. And I thought someone else's birthday was on the 22nd. So I think I've just missed someone's birthday on the 19th. So again, this is 4 strands. If you think it looks too thick or too chunky, you can always go back to 3, or if you want it to like really super, super flat, you can do 2. Just depends on how you want it to look. I think 2 people had 19th and there was Mel on the 22nd. I thought it was the other way around. I thought 2 people had... Was it Veronica? Veronica, was it your birthday on Sunday? She's just joined the chat. Or just joined the live, I mean. Now, like I said, I'm not even bothered about how these look. The line up here, because we're going to cover that. I knew I missed it. I'm so sorry, Veronica. Happy birthday from Sunday. And it's Mel's birthday today. Oh, I'm awful. To be fair to me, though, I was a little bit busy with David falling through the ceiling, so... So happy belated birthday, Veronica, and then happy birthday today to Mel. So we've got it all. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do for the top part, what you could have done is just done a satin stitch the entire way over and then done another satin stitch on top. Normally, excuse me. Sorry about that. It's not me, it's the baby, okay? Normally, what we do is we do a chain stitch. That's what I like to do. Some people like to do a split stitch. Some people like to just do an outline and like a seed stitch in the middle. I like to do a chain stitch because it really like brings it up. So what you could have done is done the satin stitch the entire way, but I thought I'll show you the proper way to do the padded satin stitch, the way that I like to do it. And then if you would like to go rogue and do a different kind of stitch underneath the caps to make them more kind of off the fabric, then you can do that. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So what you can do is you can either continue with this color, because we're going to cover it up, remember? So it doesn't really matter what color. I'm going to change colors because I do not want to have this color peeking through on the cap. So let me just get 4 strands of the other color, the darker color. I'll save that for the other bottoms. Birthdays. Birthdays are so fun. I love other people's birthday. I don't necessarily like my own birthday, but I love other people's birthdays. I'm really upset that I forgot, and I'm really sorry. That's not fun. Okay, for the padded satin stitch, what we're going to do is you need to figure out which way you want to have your actual, like the top satin stitch. So the padded satin stitch is stitches underneath, and then the final stitches that you're actually going to see on the top. So I want mine to be horizontal or from left to right on the top. So my underside, my underneath stitches are going to be vertical, and that way they're going to create kind of like a grid like this for them to really, really, really like stand up on top of. Some people like to do them on top like this, so just like 2 layers. So almost like if you did a satin stitch and then just kept doing satin stitches on top. Obviously that will make it more poofy or like add a second layer to it. But I find that if you add a different stitch underneath, then the top stitches really lay nicely as an actual satin stitch on top. Does that make sense? I hope so. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do detached chain stitches underneath, just in this little area. And as always, you might only get 2, or you might only get 1. You should probably make a knot on the end so that you don't pull it through your fabric like I just did. Okay, let's try again. We can do it. We can do it. Okay, so this is just a detached chain. If you stop it there, if you want to do 2 in a row, then you just don't go back down here. That would be what we learned before with the detached chain stitch. Okay, but with the chain stitch, you're going to go make that loop again and put your needle inside the loop. It doesn't matter where inside, as long as it's inside the loop. Okay, and then push it down again and up through the loop. Like that. And then when you finish and you're happy with how many chains you've got, you can finally put it back down through the fabric. Veronica says, I do that all the time, especially if I've been cross-stitching before picking up my embroidery, because cross-stitching doesn't do knots on the end, do they? They leave a tail, and then you weave it through the back, don't you? Is that correct? I've only tried cross-stitching like 3 times maybe. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 times. And is all the counting. Split stitch could work if that's your favorite. But I would do like a chunky split stitch. And you're going to need more rows because remember, we want these to go vertical and our satin stitch over top is going to go horizontal. So I find with the chain stitch, you can kind of get away with not doing so many and it lays on the top. Oh, so Sarah Louise says you can, but I'm lazy, so I do a knot. And Jamie T says, oh, I've been tying knots on the back of my cross stitch. Hannah says, I usually fold my thread inside my needle through the loop. Okay. So that would be like the no knot start that we do here as an option. What's going on back there? And Veronica says, yep, I weave in as I go at the start or use the loop method to start as 2 strands. Yeah. That's what I thought. But I reckon, like, just like embroidery, there's lots of different ways to do it. That's why I'm always like, if anyone's telling you this is the only way to do it, or if anyone tells you that their way is the best way, you need to leave that relationship. You need to just leave. Because you won't know until you try it. You know? So try all the different ways. Some people like to do, so what I was saying before, is a split stitch all the way around. So you do a split stitch around the border, and then you do a seed stitch in the middle. And a seed stitch is you just tiny little stitches like this, and they're just random. Like that. And it just fills in the middle of the area so that you don't have to do the whole thing with a split stitch. Okay, I probably need 1 small one here. And then we'll start with our satin stitch over the top. Okay, so now that we've filled it in, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks cool like that, doesn't it? So now that we've filled it in, we're gonna go and start I'm just gonna do one more on this side so it matches. I'm gonna go ahead and start the what was I saying? Horizontal satin stitch. I was reading the comments and I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. All right, so you can start in the middle, kind of. You can start at the bottom. Normally, wherever I start, I'm gonna have to do a little bit on the top and the bottom because I like to have a nice straight stitch over the top. So We're going to do just the same 4 strands, and you're just going to lay those over the top like that. Let me find that rock. Oh, I almost strapped it on my foot. Can you see that a little better? I'll adjust his hair on there now. Okay, just a little one over the top there. And then obviously we want to fill in the area where you can see the little doot. What did I miss? Where is Mel doing beads? Mel has decided to do some beads in her gloves. So they're like a creamy color glove. And then I think she's using like a really light pink bead. To put them over the top. She's only just showed me this morning, so you really didn't miss. You didn't miss anything. Yeah, like literally like right before this, she's like, "What do you think of the beads?" Okay, so remember, the point of this is not to have like a bunch of satin stitch on top of each other. We're just laying them flat just like we would a regular horizontal satin stitch. Now, if you mess up and you have to go back and add a couple stitches somewhere, then obviously do that. Don't feel like, oh gosh, she said it's only 1 layer and that's it. No. If you don't like the shape of something, or maybe you made it a little bit weird for whatever reason, then just go back. Okay, now this is another thing that you can do that's kind of optional if you want to. If you need to put a little thing on the top, some people like the little things on the top. I'm talking about this. Then you can, or you can omit them and that's fine as well. So I'm just going to do a couple little straight stitches there. You could do a little detached chain, like a little loop if you wanted. Whose dog is that? Stalk? Yeah, I don't know like what this little guy is. Like sometimes they have them, don't they? And sometimes they don't. So I'm not really sure like what they are, but they looked cute. So I was like, okay. But of course I've got a big knot there, so that's fun. So there we go. So we've got one little guy finished. Mine kind of goes in a little bit right there. So if that's not like, if yours does that and you're not happy with it, then just add a couple more stitches there. But you can see that all of the area is filled. So you can't see any of those stitches behind. So I will say that if you do want to use this color behind and just do the 4 strands of satin stitch all the way to the top, of course you can do that. You do not have to do the chain stitch if you don't want to. But just make sure that you really cover that up, because using a different color is not as forgiving as using the same color. Because if I have a little bit of space between my stitches here, it doesn't really matter that much because you can't see. I didn't like that. Now I like it better. Because you really can't see the background at all. Okay? Whereas if I put the lighter color underneath of there, you'd really be able to see if you didn't get them close enough and there was a little bit of a gap. So let's go back to the other color, the lighter color, and let's see if there's a huge difference if I just use the chains, or not the chain stitch, the satin stitch the whole way instead of doing the chain stitch underneath. We'll do a little experiment. But like I said, the proper satin stitch, padded satin stitch is to do a different kind of stitch underneath the part where you want it to be padded, which is why we did it like that. So if you kind of turn it to the side, let's see if you can see it. It's like much more up off the fabric than the regular. And that's because there's 2 two different layers under the top. Can ignore that. Okay. Now I saw your mittens in the Facebook group, and they look really good too. So people are really nailing it with the, let's start up here. No, let's start down here. With the mittens. The gloves, they look so good. So again, this is the experiment. We're going to see if it has the same effect to just do a satin stitch the whole way and not do any chain stitch underneath for the padded part. He says, thank you. They took so long. Gosh, I bet. Because it looks like you filled in. Looks like you did all of the back stitch first and then filled in all the middle parts and then did the details on top. Is that true? So like all the back stitch as like a guide and then filled it in and then did all of like the weaving or like the whipping or whatever afterwards. That's what it looked like to me at least. It's a bit dark today, isn't it? Yeah, it takes so long. But like, it looks so good. So let's just see if this is as effective as the other one, or if I prefer the other one first. Sorry, better. The first one that we did better. And if you have some other ideas for how to do these, then try them. Try them out. I love to have a little practice hoop next to me. Actually don't have one for this stitch along, but normally I do. And I just try different things. Like if you've got a crazy idea, like, oh, actually, I think I'm gonna try and do it this way, then just try it. Like it might work out for you. And if it does, then that's great. Oh, don't know where my other needle is. Oh, there it is. Stuck to my scissors. Does yours do that all the time? Whenever I can't find my needle, I always look for my scissors and see if they're stuck to my scissors. Okay, I don't know if we'll have enough thread here, but let's just try. Oh, I got my hooping cough I got my whooping cough vaccine yesterday for the baby. The numbing cream worked. So there you go. So that's good. I didn't cry and I didn't faint or anything. I didn't get hot. Success. Yep, and the speaker bit at the top of your phone. Ooh, did yours stick to that? It's funny, you find out all the things that are magnetic around you because your needle will stick to them. My first instinct is I don't like this. Jamie says, proud of you. He says, yep, the little bit right next to the front-facing camera. Did you a shake afterwards? Funny story, but like all of England is out of shakes. So no. But because I didn't like have an appointment necessarily, we actually had to go to Marks and Spencer like before because she wasn't there. So we ran to M&S and I got some cheese scones and some jammy iced fingers, which if you're not from England, it's like bread. Let's see how I can explain. It's like bread and then they have like icing on top. So my McDonald's does have McFlurries, but they don't have milkshakes. So I'm not quite sure. Apparently there's like a semi-truck shortage. Yes. Sarah knows where it's at. Okay, I have one left because I ate them yesterday. But I'll show you what they look like. They've got pink icing. It says Jammy 5 iced raspberry soft buns. And they're like a bread. They're like a bread. So they're like a thicker like piece of bread. Okay. And on the inside, there's jam. So normal like iced fingers is what they're called because there's 5 in a row and you only get 5. But normally, there's no jam in the middle. Oh, they're so good. I've never seen the jam ones either, Jamie, but we were in M&S the other day. I forget what we even went there for, to be fair. Oh, because they do 10-pound meal deals. Have you guys seen that? They do like the gastropub meal deals. And sometimes they'll have like different things or whatever. Like different deals. They'll have like 2 pizzas for 5 pounds or whatever. But anyways, they have this 10-pound meal deal and you get a meal for 2 people and a side and a dessert for 10 pounds. So we were like, well, let's go check that out and see what we've got. Well, what they've got. And you can get like lasagna or salmon en croûte or they're all like posh meals. You know what I mean? Like they're actually good meals. And we went there, and I said, you know what? I'm really hungry. And David said, well, why don't you go get something from the bakery? I said, okay, that's a good idea. So he picked out the meal deal, which we had last night for dinner, by the way. And I ran over to the bakery, and I was like, oh, I don't even know what I want. I'm just so hungry. And I said, oh, how about some iced fingers? I haven't had those in a while. So I went over there, and I had these pink ones, and I was like, jam in the middle? What? Ha! Okay. Jamie T says, have you tried the Yum Nuts from M&S? The salty caramel one? It's really sweet, but honestly the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. I've not tried those, but now I feel like I have to go back. Sarah says, oh my God, the Yum Nuts. I'm borderline addicted. I haven't tried those. Okay, it looks like I need to go back. I guess I need to go back. And Mel thought that I meant 10 pounds of food. I'm not laughing at you, I promise. That's absolutely hilarious. 10 pounds of food. Can you imagine? 10 pounds as in 10 of our local currency. 10 British pounds. It's Cake Week last night on the British Bake Off. The Yum Nuts are the absolute best. I might have to go get one as well as the jammy ice fingers. I need a treat to eat when I catch up with the Great British Bake Off later. Do you guys know what the Great British Bake Off is called in America? It's got the stupidest name. It's called the Great British Baking Show. Why can't they just call it the same thing? This thread does not want to thread. I only have one left. But I also got cheese scones, so they're good. I always put them in the oven for a little bit and like warm them up. Because I don't want them toasted necessarily. I just want them warm. Food. But yeah, you're going to have to send me a picture. She said she's going to send me a picture of the yum nut later. Oh no, it's what I feared. I love yum yums. You might have got me a new addiction. Oh, aren't they so good? I love yum yums too. In America, we have such good donuts. And like me and my dad, and especially in the summer, we'd go up to the little gas station and go and get a bunch of donuts in the morning sometimes. And it's so fun. Get a little coffee, get some donuts, and they're like ginormous. They're like that big. The donuts. They're so big. And yeah, we used to go up there all the time, but obviously I haven't been there in 2 summers now. So next summer, I'm leaving the baby with someone and I'm going up to that damn gas station. I'm getting me some donuts. Veronica says that she also loves a cheese scone. Aren't they so good? Oh, they're so yummy. Don't look at the how many calories there are in there, because there's a lot of calories in them. But it's worth it. They're so good. Jamie T says, honestly, Num, they are the freaking best. It's different to like a long yum yum. It's like a yum yum donut. So good. Cannot get on board with a cheese scone though. Jamie. And my mother has volunteered to take the baby next year. Enjoy traveling with a 6-month-old. It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. Because I'm getting them donuts, damn it. I'm getting them. And Mel said that she got a Cinnabon yesterday. I haven't had Cinnabon in a long time either. Nope, it's still there. Sometimes I make the tails a little too long and then they get stuck in the front. So I just use my needle and pull them out. So you can't see, but I'm just pulling the threads out, the tail of the thread. Yeah. So that you don't see it from the front. Now, obviously, if you've got 4 strands, you can do the 2 strands, fold it over method that I showed ages ago. And actually, I can show it again because I have 2 strands right here. Thank you all. Now I'm very hungry. Can you send me some to Germany? Oh. Gosh. I totally would if I thought I would get there, like in any kind of edible way. Okay, so I've got my 2 tails here, and it's folded in half. Yeah? So it's the same piece of thread, just folded in half. I was just thinking that, Jamie, she says, I bet you have way better snacks in Germany. And like, to be fair, the jammy iced raspberry soft buns, the bread part isn't very sweet. It's just like bread. So with the chain stitch, you can't actually start a full stitch. You have to do a little tiny one to secure it. So you're going to pull it through the loop and put your needle through the loop and pull. So now we have no knot here. It's really smooth for the brown part. Here you have your tail. Ugh. Okay. And you can continue stitching that way. So if you don't like all the knots, or if you find them a little bit cumbersome or whatever, you can always start like that. But it only works with even numbers. So you can use it if you want 2 strands, 4 strands, 6 strands, 8 strands, but you cannot use it if you want 3 strands because you can't split. You can't do 1.5, you know? How's come every time I end up making these 40 minutes long? Probably because I spent the entire time talking about pastries. Good morning. Yeah, but the icing on those iced fingers is so sweet. So like I said, they only give you 5, but gosh. Evil deliciousness. So yeah, I didn't get a milkshake yesterday after my shot, but I did get that. And last year in my stocking at Christmas time, Carol got me some, there's the little M&S perfumes, but I think they're like 5 pounds, but they're really like light. But I'm only, did you see the picture of the ice buns I bought the other week, Tori? No, I don't think I did. Do you still have it? Oh, I love sweets. And Janina says, okay, I think the bread is better in Germany. That's true. But the sweets, I send you a box of bread to England and you send me over some fingers. Yes. I'm okay with that. I'm not sure if they'll make it with the postal system, but I'm down. But Jamie T says that Sainsbury's have been drowning their ice fingers in icing. So good. That's amazing. I thought your mom was asking if you got the shakes after your shot, as in like started shaking. Y'all are cracking me up today. No, when I was younger and we used to go like to the dentist or the doctor's office or whatever, on the way home, my mom would always get us a milkshake as like a prize, like a present. She'd always be like, if you're good, we'll get you a milkshake. So that's why she asked if I got a shake. But not the shakes. Just a milkshake. Okay, so looking at all 3 of these right now, I definitely feel like I like this one better, these 2. This one isn't as padded as the other ones, which is fine. But now I know that I'm not a fan of that, you know? So feel free to just try the ones that you have a calling for. Do you know what I mean? I should have added a little stem or stalk, whatever it's called, to the top of that as well. I want one to go right in between there.